Good evening and welcome to Speaker Club Saturday night number 91. After last week's interesting session, today we have something very intriguing and something that we have built over this journey. The idea of collective wisdom, of what we think, the experiences that we have, the challenges that we have, the questions that we have, and many a times we did not put it across. We do not want to seek, or we have never tried to seek the challenges that we are experiencing. On the contrary, also the fact that there are many things that you have experienced, you have learned, you have benefited as a part of your experiences and have evolved over time. Don't be mean. It's time to share with the world the experiences that you have and something that everyone can benefit and go about the solution rather than going to reinvent the entire wheel and struggle through the journey that you have experienced, the pain that you have gone through, and let someone else benefit from that. So collective wisdom, the series is all about seeking to know and offering to share what you know, what you want. So here it's not going to be me speaking through the session. It's going to be you asking the questions to everyone, to anyone out here who feels they have an experience of that situation, that instance, and are willing to share what they learned from the process. So please note, while we're talking of collective wisdom, make sure while you're responding, while you're seeking, be open for different perspectives. Might not be the solution that you are specifically going to implement, but you will still get a direction towards how you can work about it. And also, while you are sharing your experiences, please make sure you're talking of three things. The idea that you're presenting, the experience that you had based on which you're talking, and more importantly, the learning that you want to share with someone. Do not make it about a book reading or an idea that you heard somewhere, listened to somewhere. Rather, make it about what is it that you have experienced and implemented in your life and learned by yourself. That is the idea behind collective wisdom, not just about, I'm not saying don't refer to something, but I'm saying if you have a reference, wonderful, but tell me how you have benefited or how you have learned to listen. So focus on that. As for today's theme, something that the entire world is chasing, having lakhs in your bank account and still unable to sleep, having everything that you have aspired to be achieved and yet unable to sleep, with different elements of what we call are the challenges to the way we are with ourselves or with the world. Peace. How can we find peace in our life? That's the theme for today's collective wisdom, wherein we are going to talk about what is your idea about peace? How have you experienced peace in your life? What are the challenges that you have experienced? How have you overcome that? Or whatever is the challenge that anyone wants to ask. So let's get going with the first and simple question that I want each one of you all to respond. Have you experienced peace and how does it feel? Short 3 to 4 liner. Whenever, it can be one moment or you can be in that state or however you want to describe that. I want you to reflect on how do you experience peace in your life? How do you define that? Go ahead. Who wants to go first? And it's just brief because this is not the entire idea of what we're discussing. We'll be getting into much deeper things as we progress. But what is peace? What are we trying to explore today? Rabia.
Peace is kind of solace, what you feel from within. When you are surrounded by the like-minded people, that particular moment itself gives you peace. That's what I feel.
Like-minded people or people who agree with you? Like-minded people still can be challenging and create a chaos in you.
The one who agree, but not necessary that everybody need to agree with us all the time. Two people can't think alike, but at least to follow what we say or understand it in another way around, they should understand what we are saying. That is the most important thing as what I feel.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
see Pragya, go ahead.
Can I narrate a small story which describes peace?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so this particular day, I
Love,
was near.
love to, love to hear your
Rabia,
stories.
Rabia, Rabia, let her go ahead.
Just a minute. Yeah.
Go ahead, Pragya.
Okay, so this particular day, when I was totally frustrated from everything around me, I was sitting near a lake in Hyderabad. Okay, there's a lake, and there is a huge rock. I was sitting on that rock, and it was sunset. For few minutes, there was a state of mind where it was just me. Nobody else, no responsibilities, no feelings towards anybody, but just me. And a mild smile on my face because I was only and only feeling myself. And the blankness, the emptiness of heart where you don't have sorrows, where you don't have anger, where you don't have frustrations. And I was just looking at that water flowing and that sun setting. Those were the only two things which were holding me then. And absolute nothing, absolute emptiness from good, bad, evil, or anything else. That was peace for me at that point of time. I can literally draw a picture me sitting on that rock and feeling that feeling inside right now when I'm even talking about it. So I think that peace is it's more to do with being more empty rather than we try to fill our hearts with peace, but it is more about being empty from the negativity or probably the frustrations or anybody else, anything else in your life, and having a
Interesting.
calm and a smile for just yourself.
Interesting. Interesting. Thank you, Pragya, for sharing that. Who's coming up next? Quickly, we'll have 2 or 3 more people, and then we'll get open with the questions that people have. It could be a moment. We are not telling that you have to be the Buddha right now.
Shall I go now?
Go ahead. Don't go. Speak.
Yeah, why? Actually, it just happened today. So I think I am able to resonate with the topic today more than anyone else because Ajio. So I am right now in Madurai. So we went to that not Meenakshi Amman, Kundrakudi temple and Kalyapeti and all. So after going to temple, so one of my relatives, one small kid is there. So what exactly was peace is, so yesterday I had my duty. Yeah, I'm in the evening shift, so I had to wake up morning early. So थोड़ा सिर दर्द हो रहा था. Like night some कुछ रात 7 बजे को मैं वहाँ गया. So even from night 7 p.m. you won't believe me, I was playing with the kid for 1 hour. 1 hour मुझे ना एक बॉल और वो टेबल टेनिस का बॉल और बैट रहता है ना. We were playing for 1 hour. 1 hour, solid 1 hour. Headache चला गया. It was energetic. You know, when I was playing, I was feeling that, वो बचपन में हम खेलते थे ना. So in our group we used to play hide and seek in our apartment. So morning सुबह 10 बजे को शुरू करते हैं और शाम वो चलता रहता वो 5:36 तक. So it reminded me of those days. So the most memorable peaceful moment, and yeah, it's an interesting topic. So I just got it immediately. So I love to share it.
Thank you. That's a wonderful thing. I believe
Yeah.
wonderful perspective there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome, Dr. Garima, for joining us. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining in from Delhi. In fact, I joined long back and I always wanted to join these sessions, but always either I had a class at around 9:30 or my session now that I'm associated with the Cavaliers Club, they end up by 9:30. So I would always miss it. Today it so happened the meeting ended a little early and I was like, I'm going to join today.
Thank you. And I believe you have come in with your experience on the right day with a topic like this. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy the session going forward. Who's coming up next?
May
so
I?
yeah, let's get going with Garima. What do you think is peace?
See, for me, peace is when I'm able to control my thoughts. Now, it can be any time of the day because most of the times, even when I'm laying down to sleep and I have this problem of sleep, I am overwhelming. My mind is overwhelming with thoughts. What next? Again, typical problem of the entrepreneurs when you have your hands in 10 different projects. What next? Right? So for me, somewhere peace is that moment wherein I can control my thoughts. And yes, when I was doing this meditation, was practicing meditation regularly, I was able to do that. And I say this on reason being, when the second wave of COVID hit, I knew how my husband was really upset about it, and we all were upset about it. But the thing is, it was somewhere hindering his peace of mind. He was obviously every day we used to listen to some or the other news, someone whom we knew and who were people who were younger to us were affected. So yes, it was a disturbing time. But because I was so much engrossed in my own meditation, I was meditating every day, I was at peace. Not with the things, yes, those things, obviously, people were close to me. But then I knew somewhere I was able to accept the truth and at the same time move ahead in the right direction. So I call peace at any moment in time wherein I can control my thoughts and I can maneuver my life the way I want to, rather than thoughts and situations overpowering me. I can take control of my life.
Interesting perspectives. I think we have jumped the gun. We have already started to talk about solutions. I believe we will come to you when the questions come through. Hopefully, you'll be able to share specific instances where and how, like you are mentioning right now, while COVID, your husband had a challenge and you were doing something. We'll talk about those things in much more detail while you can respond. Dinesha, go ahead. And after that, Lakshmi. Before that, let me just share, I got a chat from Uma ma'am where she says calmness, bliss, satisfaction, and joy. Wonderful. Go ahead, Dinesha.
Whenever I used to play with my son, he was like after 2 years, he started playing with me. Now he's 4.5 years. Whatever he will get it, even small article or whatever is available in the house, okay, he will invite me to play along with me. So I will become a child during that time. That thing I want to call it as a peace. We forget entire world. I become a like small baby along with him. I started playing. I don't know what is happening. Will completely involve. There will not be any secondary thoughts there. That one I want to give it as a that moment is the peace.
Interesting. Thank you, Dinesha. Before we move to Lakshmi, I would actually want to discuss here if someone has a technical know-how or understanding about this difference which I have in mind right now. While we're talking of playing with a kid, we are talking of joy. We are talking of experiencing that moment. While I have a different definition of peace when I'm referring to a state of calmness, while you're talking of joy, you're talking of rather an elevated state of mind on a positive side. I'm not saying it should not be. That's a great sign. But that is also equally possible that day when your kid doesn't play with you or he's unwell, it will go on the other side. My idea is, what are we talking when we're saying peace? I'm not referring to joy. I'm referring to the calmness which is required during the session. So again, I might be wrong over here, but that is the way I'm thinking about it, where you can come to that state. It can be an elevated state of calmness and joy, but I'm not talking of that moment when you're playing with your kid. That is a sheer moment of rather being in that moment elevated and experiencing that. Please correct me if anyone has a different perspective. Feel free to share, because we are here in a collective wisdom session today. Not negating anyone. Dinesha, what you shared, or Sri Krishna, what you shared. We are talking of rather an elevated state. Because it's positive, you're feeling it's good. Okay, Lakshmi, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, that same thing I'm also going to tell. I have 3 directions I'm going. First of all, actually, that kids, right? Whenever I'm playing, for example, I'll tell you a small story. Actually, when I seen my wife, right? First time I'm going to her home, just I'm playing with kids. Okay, they are no, actually, you are coming to see girl, yeah, like that they're telling. But reason that stress and everything released, right? So whenever I'm going seeing kids, especially 1, 2, 3, after 3 they won't listen us. So that age, right? I will use to play with them. That is also whenever I'm having pressure or project pressure, I'll use to go wherever that my friends is there, right? Their kids, I go and play. That is peaceful for me. I will forget everything. I'll forget I'm where I am, so I don't forget. I will just mingle with them. I am also a kid like that. That one thing I will do. Now what I'm doing again, that usually I will go some nature. For example, if I'm in Mysore, so I will used to go Kurg or somewhere the nature place is there. I will go and refresh. If I went there means I will forget the environment, or else Night also somewhere I'm sleeping, right? They will scared. Sometimes I will talk project. This is so and so need to be done. Tomorrow you have to do. So like that also I used to do. So whenever I'm going there, I forget everything. I will get some enlightenment, Buddhism like that. I will think.
Interesting.
I forget everything. That world I'm somewhere like that. No connectivity is there. So it is good for. I'll feel that is peace for me. Or else some things whenever I'm completing a big project, that time I will feel I will get some satisfaction, peace also. That day, now, okay, I done everything in my life. So this is my point of view.
Interesting. Thank you, Lakshmi. When you said after 3 they don't listen, before 3 actually you are thinking that they listen. So that's the only thing. Madhu, go ahead.
Yeah.
After
So
that,
for
Vijaya,
me,
and I'll then move to the next, open it for questions, or let's get going with the session. Madhu, go ahead.
so actually, I don't know exactly, what to call peace or whatever. I don't know. That's the reason I'm just writing. But one instant I wanted to share. Maybe that's a peace. I don't know. You can judge whether. So yesterday Friday, just in my new company, whatever role I have taken, that's one batch I have given completed training for 3 weeks. That is a newly invented in company, and that is a new program that I am a new person, no background or whatever. Completely I started designing everything, and everyone knows from the top management also. So yesterday is the last final day, and I conducted a test. Everyone 98% they got, and average is about 85%. I'm very happy. Even that result went to management level, and they are also very happy. And there is one more kind of review given about the content, about the trainer, about overall, generally we get, right? I given that kind of thing. I redirected that the report will directly go to my manager also, because even the mistake or bad, whatever, even good, it should go. So that way, given everyone is given 100 for trainer. For the content, they given 92%. Okay, I agree that something we have to change in add something. So that is the second thing. I mean, they got good marks and they appreciated and they felt very happy about that. And at night, 11 o'clock, I think around before I sleep, I got a mail from my VP, Vice President, saying, you've done a fabulous job, and we know there is nothing, no structure here, but even though just you did everything. So that made me happy. And yesterday only, and I think I am using this bit watch where, we can calculate, how much is our deep sleep and all those things. 1 hour, 33 minutes. This is the first time I got deep sleep, 1 hour, 33 minutes. I don't know. That is called peace. I don't know. But till now my average is 50 minutes to 1 hour, 10 minutes. 1 hour, 33 is yesterday. I don't know. This is called peace or not, but I am happy. So I don't know.
I like the way you have brought in the scientific angle to what peace could mean. And it's an interesting way. That is also equally important to assess, to actually understand how are we with regard to the physiology. How are we actually at peace or not? Last, Vijaya, quick. Vijaya, if your delivery is done, you can speak now. Go ahead.
But for me now, what is peace? It is the permanent. It should be a permanent state of mind. हम हमेशा पीस में रहना चाहिए, बट
क्या
नहीं
है,
रहते।
क्या आपका क्या है वो बताओ, फिलॉसफी नहीं।
हाँ, वही बता रही हूँ। हाँ, वही बता रही हूँ, बिकॉज वो मैंने किया है। आई अचीव दैट। एक टाइम कैसा था कि आई वाज मतलब एवरी टाइम आई 24 आवर्स है ना, उसमें 20 आवर्स आई वाज लाइक एंग्री मूड। सोते में भी मैं एंगर ही करती हूँ कि मेरा सबकॉन्शियस माइंड every time is in anger only.
We can't
But
imagine
after
that
that,
angry
what is
birds,
the thing?
Vijaya. We can't imagine that angry birds, Vijaya. Now go ahead.
So in that case, what I start to do, that मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ है कि gratefulness, gratitude, when I follow that thing, कि मुझे जब भी ऐसा लगता है कि यार मेरा peace of mind जा रहा है, so I am thinking of something good happen to me. And the simplest way I found that मतलब मुझे कैसा लगता है जैसे if you are playing with pets or kids, it's a temporary state. हम अभी खेले तो हमको अच्छा लगा, फिर बाद में क्या होगा? So whenever we are in grateful or gratitude state ना, we can do any time that thing. कि हम कभी भी किसी को gratitude, जब भी आपको कुछ नेगेटिव हो रहा है तो हम उसको पॉजिटिव सोचने gratitude, we can do that. And one thing I'm doing is that just open your hands and do 3 rounds. Just and 3 rounds, eyes closed. So in that case now I'm feeling नहीं, really it works. जैसे हम ऐसे करते ना, so I feel connected to God, nature. So जब ऐसा करते हैं 3 rounds only, 4 rounds only, and smile on face. So in the particular situation ना, I am getting peace off. ऐसा मेरे
Interesting.
साथ हुआ है.
Thank you Vijay for that perspective. अभी वो घुमाने का जो बोल रहे हो वो तो मुझे पता नहीं है, but पीस का पता नहीं, चक्कर जरूर आके आप सोचना बंद कर दोगे. That is also state of mind and that is also peace. Thank you for that. So yes, from what I heard about a few, specifically two people who mentioned that, one was Dr. Garima and the second one was Vijaya. They began with "for me." They began with "for me," while also others shared their personal story. The idea that we are talking of is, why is it important to understand when you talk of peace or finding peace, it has to be your kind of a solution, what fits you. Not everything will work out for you. Let's keep that in mind. So whatever we are going to share today or whatever we discuss, always remember there's one easy way of telling that nothing works for me, and whatever solutions you're listening, you might tell that, okay, ये मेरे लिए काम नहीं कर रहा, ये मेरी जिंदगी में ये कुछ काम ही नहीं करने वाला है. Or the other side, you just look at, accept everything that is coming through. Both are wrong. So it's all about trying and seeing what works for you. With that, I would like to call Madhu for asking his question, which he shared in my private chat once I told that we will be having this discussion. Madhu, your question.
Yeah, as earlier also mentioned that exactly I didn't experience. I mean, I don't know whether I experienced or not also, because how the peace looks like. I mean, feels like. So if anyone can give me, okay, if you feel these kind of symptoms or these kind of feelings, then you are in a state of peace. If any if you can give anything, that is the one. And how to, at least it's not possible overnight, but how to travel towards that, at least step by step. That's
interesting. Interesting. So Madhu, we have already discussed about what peace looks like for most of the people, and I won't call it symptoms, because we are not rather diagnosing some challenge. We are rather looking at taking off the symptoms to coming to a state where it is the lack of or absence of these symptoms could be peace. So I would rather ask the other way now. When you say, what is chaos? What is absolute chaos? When have you experienced chaos? Let me begin by sharing mine. Just 2 days back, or yesterday, I had a kind of a keynote address with Microsoft. The night before that, I woke up at 1 o'clock. Not sure what I'm going to say. Not sure whether I'm prepared enough. Not sure I can stand up on that stage and deliver and talk and make sense to 200 people. How it happened is a different story. But that state, that thought, and that mind space that I was in at that point in time told me that something is missing. And the reasons could be many. The reasons could be any and whatever we are going to discuss today. How have you experienced chaos? And let's begin with you all sharing, because Madhu has asked a generic question. You all share what is chaos, or what have you been in, and what has helped you get out of it. You all can begin now. Uma ma'am, go ahead. And because we have a good number of people today, I would request everyone to be crisp. Quickly, like I mentioned about collective wisdom, the idea, the experience, and the learning. Quick, over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, many times the inner chattering keeps going on in our mind. Like Rahul said, will the contest go on well? Will I be able to speak well? What if I fumble? What will others think? This is the inner chattering which keeps on going. And when you just say, shut up, and just keep those thoughts away, and just say to yourself, I know what to do. So there will be one thought which keeps telling you, no, you're not going to do well, and things like that. But if you just shut up that thought and say, let it be, whatever it is, I'm going to face it. I'm going to do well. When you just calm down those chattering and just say, it is going to be fine. Whatever it is, I'm going to face it. That time you get a sort of strength from within you, because that soldier is within you who is going to come out and help you at times of difficulty. So that you are having that inner potential. No? Just there may be some negative thoughts which keep telling you the inner chattering will be there, but just quieten it, and I think you will do well.
One question. Thank you, Uma ma'am, for pointing that out. I've stood on stage for 16 years now, and yet I had that problem. I knew and I have shared this about inner chattering, and yet I had this problem. If it's possible for someone to share some actionable item, I know the thought process is important, and that reflection there, it changed for me. At that night, if I was able to sleep, it's because I woke up at that 1 o'clock, prepared 1 more hour, and then went on to sleep with the conviction that I've done things. Now that I have a structure in place, that belief, like after that 1 hour of preparation, I had that belief. If I've done it so many times, it will work out tomorrow also. I went to sleep with that idea. It works out. Like you mentioned, the thought process is there. The ideas, please also tell me if, for the benefit of everyone, actionably, externally, if you can do something which benefits. I'm not saying always you will have something action, but if you have some idea where you've experienced and done something, do share that also. Because quick.
So I have two ideas which I have observed that it is working, and I think it will work. First one, apart from the affirmation, definitely the positive affirmation works. Apart from that, if we have the access to this stage, then it is a good idea to go to that place around an hour and just be familiar with that place and do a mock kind of speech in the stage when nobody's there, or maybe your friends standing there or sitting there. That is one. And second is very little subtle. Maybe few of you can relate. So if you go there and do kind of like we are actually energies and we have frequencies. If we send the positive frequency in that particular place, then we can create the aura that is conducive for us. So that particular aura changes. Actually, the place gives you energy back, and you get the boost that you really need. And the third one is if you do deep breathing before the actual talk starts, right? That also helps. Thank you.
Thank you, Bikash, for that. Wonderful inputs there. Deep breathing. I've always felt the benefit of this. Just exactly 30 seconds before I'm beginning something, I make sure to breathe. And I think physiologically, that's a wonderful technique that works. And second thing about getting accustomed to the unknown area. Surely benefits in calming our nerves, because when I'm already unsure or kind of have that fears about how I'm going to speak, knowing where I'm going to speak, getting comfortable there. The reason why we are talking comfortably with friends or right now on this platform is because we have this warmth and known factor among ourselves, and that's the reason we are comfortable. I believe that's a wonderful input. So equally applicable, not just for public speaking, for anything that you're doing. If you're going for an interview, if you're doing something which is not giving you that peace of mind before, that anxiety which is there, make sure you can reduce those elements which are unknown. That will surely help in calming yourself down. Pragya, go ahead.
Okay, so this is a little tough thing which can be done, but it is called alternative mindset building. So what you do is when you're in the state of that fear or anxiety, you take a pen and a paper and you write exactly opposite things of what is coming into your mind. So for example, if your mind says you will not be able to do it, you would keep writing, you will be able to do it, you will be able to do it. So you basically, it's a subconscious way of putting a positive thought and an alternative mindset into your head. Although it's a very tough thing because there is something else already going in your mind and it is tough to write the opposite of it. But after some time, what happens is, because logically it is made in a way that we will be focusing on what you're writing. So the mind will go away from the negative thought and will start focusing on what am I writing here. You cannot write without consciously paying attention to what you have to write. So that is one thing which really helps. And second thing which really helps is that, this one of my mentors told me that always try to, whenever you have that fear that I'm going to lose, think of what maximum can go bad. It cannot go beyond this.
Worst case scenario.
Worst case scenarios. And then from there, first think of that worst case scenario. And from there, give a thought, just a seed to your mind. Okay, this is the worst case scenario, but just imagine what if you do even 1% better than this worst case. So you have actually given a positive thought to your mind, and then start imagining what happens in the best case. What happens if this thing works? And that fear of your mind, because of that small seed inside, will start giving alternative thoughts to you and will start reducing that anxiety. This is something which I do when I am in a very negative state. And it is not about public speaking. It is about your personal, personal things in your life, personal tantrums in your life. So
Everyone,
that
please
works there
note.
as well.
Everyone, please note. She's not referring to the marriage that we are in. She's talking of something else. Let's.
There are few things which you really can't solve. I am not referring to those.
That's a taken thing. Thank you for that. Wonderful ideas. Again, please let me reiterate, while we're talking of one specific instance and their solutions, I want each one of you all to reflect on your instances, your challenges, your situations where you experience something like this. So it's not about public speaking, it's about anything where you're experiencing this, and see how you can benefit by finding peace through this process. Lakshmi, go ahead.
Yeah, actually for me, this is correct or wrong, even I don't know. What I used to do whenever I'm going interview, I'm not selected also, for me, no issues. Whatever, right, we'll think actually we should get select. That pressure will be there. Wherever I'm going, this is not getting also, for me, no issues. So like that means I will be very confident. I'm friendly manner only I used to talk. Reason I cracked my interview also, my present question like this only. So again, public speaking, what I will do, I not actually a speaker like that, professional speaker in office I used to do. What I will think, I know everything, the opposite person, they don't know anything. So whatever I want, I can speak. So the confident I will get. So the mistakes, even I don't know also, I'll speak 2 minutes. Okay. That's the confidence. So that's the reason it will be helpful for me. Like only I'm managing.
Understood. Thank you for that. Dr. Rashmi, go ahead. So yeah, just before Dr. Rashmi, Lakshmi, the point Lakshmi was mentioning was about taking failure, because often one of the biggest reason for all the chaos that goes in within us is expecting success always. When you look at failure not as an opposite of success, but as a part of it, I believe that entire equation changes. When you're looking that this is something that has to go through failure, I believe that's where the entire perspective or the way you're thinking about failure and success will change. Thank you, Lakshmi, for that wonderful point. Dr. Garima.
And maybe if I want to add one more point, what he said.
Okay,
so I think he is saying something like many a times we underestimate ourselves but overestimate others. So there actually he is actually reversing it. He's overestimating himself and underestimating others.
But that's a good play. That's a good play. Sometimes if that's a strategy that works for him, it's a good play. Many a times for others, it could backfire also. It could show across that you are just all gas. It could. So, but if something's working for him, wonderful. So find the idea for yourself. Dr. Garima.
Right. Yeah. So I remember when I started my career with coaching the adults. So I went for this interview as a soft skills trainer, and this was a government project. I wanted that, reason being it somewhere wasn't in balance with my personal life. So I went there for an interview, all dressed in formal wears. And then as I went, I cleared the interview and I was told, take the class right now. Till then, I wasn't aware the students that I will have. And that's when I was told that they are all Kashmiri students, and this is under the government project wherein they are preparing these students to qualify and come into the mainstream. Right. I went, and then the classes were a floor up. While I was taking those stairs, I was thinking I wasn't prepared. Now, this was something that I wasn't prepared. I was only prepared for this interview. And I didn't even know that these are the Kashmiri students. So why I'm emphasizing on Kashmiri, because I was not appropriately dressed. I was in my Western wears. And there I enter the room with around 65 students, all boys. That time there were no girls in that batch, all boys. And here I am. I don't even look my age, which is good for me otherwise. But there it was difficult to tell them that, yes, I am senior to you. And while I was climbing, I was obviously affirmations and breathing, yes, they were going on, but I had to get hold of that. It took me just a few minutes to get this, that this is my class. I am the authoritative person. What I do, they are bound to follow me. So, and if, like they always say, first impression is the last one. So if I fumble here right now in front of them just because somewhere I have that chatter in my brain, how will it go? It will all spoil for me. So there, I somewhere took in that deep breath, and then I was like, it's my class. So I have to take control. Nothing was decided what I'll do in the class. I started with introduction, and within few minutes, I was cool, comfortable, and calm. So if you ask me, wasn't I scared? Yes, I was, especially when I was climbing those stairs. And the moment I opened the door and I entered the class, looking at those 60, 65 guys who were taller also and looked more mature than I. But yes, it did take time. It did take first 5, 10, 15 minutes. But then the moment that feeling that, yes, I am the person of authority here, that definitely helped me. And why I shared this, because that's what I told my children too, and I tell my students too. When you are presenting a speech, you are the one who knows what is there in that speech. No one else knows. If you fumble, how will they get to know what was there in your speech? I always tell both my daughters, you are there on the stage, perform. Chahe wo dance, either it's a dance or it's a speech. You know the right thing. No one else knows. Just that, take it in your stride, even if you fumble, even if you forget, just take it in your stride and go ahead. So that is my technique.
Very interesting, Dr. Garima. Thank you for sharing that. I believe the last line is something which is something that I and Pragya Bosch, she has also mentioned that in the chat. Others don't know the template. You have created your template, and what you're working around is delivering that template. So in public speaking also, like in other places, people don't know the template to judge you whether this is good, better, or best. They'll be judging from their perspective, not based on the template and what you have delivered. So keep that in mind. And that is a template that only you know. That's the beauty of it. So if you are sticking this idea, the template of what level am I trying to achieve, if that is within you only, whatever you hit, wherever you hit is a goal. I'm reminded of a joke or a funny instance with my friend from this thing. While we were in college, there was a small dustbin at the corner, and he used to always, sitting on the bed somewhere, he used to throw a ball or throw a paper and hit it somewhere. Every time I used to see, you didn't hit the basket. He said, basket? I wasn't trying that. I was trying where it hit. The entire game changes when you change the goalpost where you are trying to hit, because only you know what you're trying to hit. While we are actually, this piece is lost because we think we didn't hit the goalpost and everyone knows where the goalpost is and what everyone is thinking. That is not. You know what your goalpost is and what you have delivered. So equally, it's your own assessment, and the entire piece is lost is all within you only, not something which is real. Vijaya, go ahead.
After
The same point. One thing is that when we are going to say something, na, I am thinking, मतलब कोई challenge है. If we are facing some challenge, na, तो I am saying, मजा आएगा, कर ले. Some first thing is that only. What I am saying to myself, अरे मजा आएगा, challenging है, मजा आएगा, कर ले. So that will triggers my क्या बोलेंगे confidence. Second is that कि मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ है. Once a time that I went for an interview for that lecturership only, and there were only 4 people, the interviewer. And then also, mera mouth, and I got failed. After that, when I went to Mahindra's Banking Institute, and there I took class for 1,000 Army Air Force people. 1,000 people were sitting, and I am telling them what is computer and what is hardware and everything. So the second point is that just think that मुझे जो आता है ना वो मुझे पता है मेरे को क्या बताना है, ठीक है? They don't know what I want to tell them. So just be confident in the at the point that what I want to deliver is speak from your heart, and they will understand. When the connection between the hearts हो जाता है ना, and that time there is a feedback form. So in that feedback form, everyone, there are so many subjects: reasoning, logical reasoning, mathematics, everything, and computer is also there. So I got the maximum hit points there. That man is good. That man was good. So the thing is that speak from your heart, and nobody knows what you are going to tell. And third thing is that to encourage ourselves. Maza aega kal. Just take that challenge. Aisa. So this three
Interesting.
things.
Thank you. With regard to the first point that you said, speak from the heart, especially when it comes to something which is generic in nature, which does not require any preparation, it works. But always remember, for you to get peace, for you to be at calm while you're doing anything, preparation and the amount of preparation that you do is actually what is going to keep you calm. Trust on it is the next step. Trust that you know. For exams, for kids who go for exams also, before the exams, when there's so much of chaos and that anxiety of how I'll perform, two things are which are important. One is a preparation that you have given, and once you are prepared, trust that your preparation will work. There are both sides of the story, which is very important for you to keep in mind. Thinking from the heart, exam में लिखेंगे, दिल चाहता है, story लिखेंगे, दिल पर DDLJ कुछ होता है, जो लिखना है exam में लिख लेंगे. Trust from the heart will backfire. But when it comes to areas where it is a preparation which is required, please focus. Vijay, not negating your point. I'm just saying, be true to what you're saying. First, I'll come to Rashmi, Rabia, and then Sri Krishna. Go ahead, Rashmi.
Yes, I mean, I would like to say, situation is not in our hand. Situation is not our hand. How you will deal the situation, that is with you. Means how you are tackling the situation. And because of every situation, means like with your children, with your partner, or with your friends, with your family, everywhere, like any job situation or anything, it is not in your control. For today's example, morning, since 2 months, I was booking one hall for my session, and I have founder member previous hall, and they are not giving me my time because in COVID, I just closed my sessions, So they said we are not giving you your time. That slot we fill with another party. So I book another hall. They promised me day before yesterday, I collect the key, and today morning they call me, we are not able to give you hall. My old hall also gone, that premises also gone, and this also gone. Now this situation, they said, no, you have a lot of session in Zoom, so you don't require. I said, none of your business. Yeah. So what is this? What I am trying to say, situation is not your control. How you handling is that more important. And again, containment is more important. Physical, mental, and spiritual, all three level, if you are contained, you will handle the situation properly. Again, the best example, if you are continuously bombarding, means inside the mind, sometime within 1 minute, normally you are creating 20 to 25 thoughts, and within whole day, you are every person, whole day you are creating nearly 60 to 75,000 thoughts. And the same thing, pranayam, and pranayam, again, you born with breathing, and when you are living this life, you are breathing out. So in between, quality of life, quality of peace. So when you have peace of mind, naturally you are handling situation properly without giving trouble to yourself. When you are screaming, shouting, brooding, or feeling sad or worried, that you are depleting your energy. So all the time, when you are stable in that situation, that is more important. When your thought is not in control and continuously, so that time I will suggest take massive action, physical action. First thing is a Surya Vedana, that is powerful breathing. So which you feel like you can see the actor is worried, then they will do boxing or something, and they make themselves like a perspiration. Till perspiration happen, they are just doing shifting their anger to somewhere else. So like this, you can do massive action, physical action, that divert your distraction from worry or sadness. And then slowly you come to breathing and then meditation. If you do directly meditation, it will definitely, you will destroy your peace. Yeah, indeed. Because that time, that is the not time to do meditation, when you are extremely worried or sad or anxious.
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
that time you
Rashmi.
take
I think
physical action.
I think that's a wonderful perspective that you've shared. A lot of people
Yeah.
suggest meditation, do meditation, do meditation. But when you are already in a negative loop, in that state of worry, when you do
Yeah.
meditation, actually you'll rather focus all your energies on this one worry
Yes.
that you have, and you're depleting your energies. Wonderful idea there. And
Yeah.
with regard to physical exercise, okay, let me move to Sri Krishna. We are already at 9:53.
Yes.
Interesting.
So
Go ahead.
yeah, it was again regarding a session. So it's a contrarian view. So it was an intercollegiate fest kind of thing. So I had to give a seminar. So in that seminar, everyone I think some 30 to 40 participants. So in that the first, like I was like some 10th position, like somewhat like that. So the first like 9 presentations what I saw, and 8 was it was super, like no words, it was like awesome. I started, no, it's not that I wasn't prepared that day. I had that self doubt. मैं कर पाऊंगा नहीं कर पाऊंगा, a kind of doubt I got it at the literally last minute ko. So literally in the last minute it was like somewhat messy. So I thought one thing, and it actually worked. అంటే వచ్చింది చేస్తారా భయ్, వస్తే రాని పోతే పోని. I trust me, I did not win, but one thing I'll say, I went with that attitude and gave the speech. You won't believe, I delivered better than what I expected. So it worked like that for me. So
for the ones, thank you Sri Krishna. For the ones who don't understand Telugu, his idea was, come what may, doesn't matter, I'll give it my best and leave it there.
Yeah,
that's the approach that you can have possibly sometimes, to let go of all the things and doubts that are creeping into you. Thank you, Sri Krishna, for that. Pragya.
Okay, so one idea of chaos. It's okay about public speaking. It's okay about every other thing that happens, but most of the chaos comes from our very own dear relatives, people in our life, and all these sides. And one thing which I have understood is that this chaos comes because of one idea: your way and my way. Okay, this is how I define it. And the chaos, every chaos comes in between these two ideas: your way or my way. Because my head will continuously be talking about what this person is saying. This doesn't match to me. Why did he say this? How can he say this? Where did he come from? What did he do? Who is he? What is he? And all those other questions which keep popping up. Usne aisa kaise, how could he even say this? Always the first question, the first thing will be, who is he to decide about my life? Get out of here. That is what maximum chaos comes from. That is a major part. It can be our bosses, it can be our husbands and wives, neighbors, and so many more people, all dear and near ones to us. And one thing which I have understood at this point of time, because I have been going through this chaos lately since last 10 days, and I've been in a terrible mess because of it. And today I found one thing, that it is extremely important, if you want to stay out of any chaos, is first to define your area of peace, a circle of peace, and do not let anybody else be a part of it. Because the time anybody else comes into picture in that circle of peace, it is bound to be destroyed. So the first thing you have to do is define your area of peace, of what keeps you calm. Then define a structure of how you can keep that area enclosed, which means, first, whatever somebody says, if that destroys my peace, it is not supposed to be a part of me. Okay. Second, you need to do is that person really that important to enter that area of peace or not? Third, if you really feel that person is of importance, what you need to do is define your area of peace to that person as well, that I cannot let you hold me beyond this circle. This is my enclosed circle, and if anybody comes into it, it destroys my area of peace. So once you have done that structuring part of it, that is when you can keep the negativity or any other person to not affect your area. And slowly I have done this in last 2-3 days. Speak out. If that person is destroying your area of peace, speak it out, that no, you're not allowed inside this circle. That's where you will slowly start. And today, for the first time, I was gazing at the stars and I was just smiling because I knew I was inside my area of circle, and I did not enter anybody else. I did not let anybody else enter that area. And it was perfectly fine. They will have to understand.
Thank you, Pragya. So everyone knows why I have been standing outside the room since the morning now. Who is coming up? Yeah, Rashmi, go ahead. 1 second, Rashmi, you're on mute. It's already almost 10, so please I would request everyone to make
I would
it.
like to ask Pradnya,
Yes.
how that person will know her problem and how they will come to her area. I don't understand.
So normally in my case, I can explain what happens is that mostly we would start thinking about what that person has said. So for example, I'm just taking it as an example. Suppose Rahul says something to me, that thought will keep lingering in my mind, and it will keep lingering to an extent where it starts hitting and raising all these questions of what, who, why, am I not important? Is he the only deciding factor? Things like these. There can be many other questions. What I did at that point of time is that either you stay quiet because you think that this is going to solve the problem. But the issue is that it rather fills your mind with more problems. What I did for that particular situation is go to that person and clearly tell, I did not like the way you said it. Don't you think that it could have been conveyed in a better manner?
Yeah,
right.
but if
once you have done that, your mind knows that you spoke about it. It will stop lingering that thought inside because you have put it out.
No, but after that explanation, maybe he's not agree with you. This is
That's
your
okay.
own.
That's okay.
Okay. Before we get into the finer details here, the spirit, what Pragya is mentioning, Rashmi, is that the entire cloud that you have in your mind has to be taken out, has to be clearly articulated and told that this is what I'm hurt about. When we do not communicate that this is going beyond my limits, this is making me uncomfortable, this is disturbing me, if you don't say it, how will the other
don't brood, just take it out.
At least define for yourself first. For yourself first, what is acceptable and what is not, and then make sure you're communicating with the person officer.
I'll just add a point over here, Rashmi, that what I understood, this can be only for me, I'm not sure if it applies to everyone. Most of the clutter or chaos happens not with the point only, but because you keep thinking about it and you are not able to speak about it. Once you have taken that out, spoken that out, your mind psychologically itself thinks, मैंने अपने side से बोल दिया. सामने वाला समझे नहीं समझे माने नहीं माने, that's a different game altogether. Once you take it out, your clutter is cleared. अपना कचरा सामने वाले को दे दो, वो तुम्हारा problem नहीं है.
Yeah,
interesting. Thank you, Pragya. I hope it answers you, Rashmi. Kirti, thank God you're here. Go ahead, shoot.
Hello everyone. I just wanted to share my part of the understanding. Can you hear me properly?
There's a little bit of a echo kind of a thing, or it's a little rough.
Disconnected.
Just a second.
Yes,
Is it okay
audible now.
Awesome. So, something recently happened which I really want to share. I know we are beyond time. I'll try to keep it crisp. When we're talking about peace, my understanding of peace is it should be something where we find our balance, where we find our calm, and we're not drifting away with any sort of emotion, be it so-called good emotion or be it so-called bad emotion, something which is uncomfortable or comfortable. I see people sharing, the moments where they're overconfident or they're really happy. In those moments also, we try to make wrong decisions. And the same happens right at the opposite end when we're feeling very hopeless. So my idea of peace is when we're at the right balance. Recently, I'll just quickly take just 2 minutes to share what happened. Currently, I'm living alone with my dog because my parents are away. And my immediate neighbors are really crappy people. The senior is in high police, some rank.
Let me invite them here.
Yeah, I was just checking nobody from that family is here, so I can share with all of you because you don't even know where I stay. So yay. Um, what happened was they got someone to chop off a beautiful neem tree right in front of our place, and I was against it getting pruned and chopped off really bad. And I stood up and I tried to save it, but I could not. They literally chopped off half of the tree, and it's really beautiful. I've literally seen it grow throughout my childhood. So it was very painful. And the fact that they were giving is, what if the branches fall on my tree? Will you pay for the damage? Blah, blah. Nonsense shit. Because it's a living tree, it would not fall. Only dried branches fall. So it was very nonsense. And usually I don't get into such things, but this is something which was really bad. And this is the first time I spoke up like that. And then I was feeling really bad. The thought started, why should I even think in that way? I should not, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized one guest was over my place, and his vehicle got damaged. And I'm pretty sure they did it because of the kind of ego they have. Right. And, I was going through the entire range of emotions. I did breathing exercise. I did pranayam. I did all whatever was discussed here. Nothing worked. And let me add, I am a counseling psychologist. Nothing worked. So, but the simple solution which that guest eventually did was he got his vehicle repaired, and I was at peace. And then I realized, okay, it's just a tree, it will grow back. So at times, it's not only working on thoughts, it's also working on actions. You can't only restrict yourself by thoughts and chain yourself back, okay, ऐसे सोचेंगे, ऐसे सोचेंगे, ऐसे सोचेंगे. At times, actions need to be done. And when we're talking about peace, we have to understand we have our own circle of peace, and the other person also have their own circle of peace. So as far as we are respecting our circle, we should also respect the other person's circle of peace. So I decided to not enter in their circle of peace and not let them enter in my circle of peace. So thank you for listening. I also found a vent over here. I just wanted to share what is
Thank you,
going
Kirti.
on.
कीर्ति ये एक्शन वाला पार्ट ध्यान में लेकर ही मैं कभी कभी राहुल की पिटाई कर देती हूँ.
That's the reason I'm happy with the Zoom meeting. See, you can't see except anything except my face. You can't see my body. You can't see the everything else. Yeah, the reason why interesting point there, Kirti. We had this idea discussed in uncensored freedom. Always remember the point that Kirti was mentioning about while you say your piece, there's also someone else's piece, and we as humans are always interacting. And that's where you also have to remember not just about the elements, but I'm not saying, I believe this circle has to have another deeper circle, something which cannot be touched, something which is non-negotiable, something that you will never disrespect, never accept going beyond this smaller circle, which is the elements which are completely non-negotiable to you. And beyond that, the next elements which are something where the to and fro sometimes hits, sometimes misses will keep happening because we are interacting with other circles also. So that's a wonderful point. Thank you for Kirti for sharing that. Anyone else would like to share anything else before I share the entire research that I did? मैं भी कुछ ना कुछ बोलूंगा ना. Go ahead, Rabia.
Yeah, two incidents I would like to narrate here. For once is that the same similar to the other one's stories like, but I'll make it short. That for the first time in my lifetime, I can say I was facing the boys students, and at that time I was nervous from within, but I had to face them, no other go as such. So to my wonder and surprise, I found them very cooperative, very jovial, and very like making mischief kind of a thing, and all those things were there at the same time, but they were very happy about it. And then when I was started with my lecture, I was from within was nervous, but they were happy to see me, because after a long time I heard that they had someone who is a girl teaching them, like lady means to say, because all the time they were in company of boys lecturers, Jane Sam to say. So they were happy for that reason. I was just dying from within thinking that I'm in front of the boys for the first time. So
Rabia,
it so
I would
happened.
also have been happy. Don't worry. It's okay, continue.
Thank you. So it so happened that while in between the lecture, when I had to write it something on the board, I was so nervous. I committed a blunder, a mistake, I can say, and there was a little misspelled a word. So I wasn't noticing that. I just read it and I turned back, and again I started continued with my lecture. Then all the boys were just looking at the board. A few of them could not say to me openly, but one of the last benches, as usual, were we very active enough. So the last benches just got up once and then said that, "Ma'am, could you please check the spelling over there on the board?" Then I just looked up and then I just said that, okay, it is the time for me to take an action because things were going beyond my reach. So I just told that, yeah, I know I did, because I just wanted to see your presence of mind, whether you all are attentively listening or not. Then I just turned around and I just corrected the spelling, and everybody just said, "Oh, it's that, so that's fine, that's fine." And I got an applause for doing such a thing, but actually it was my error. That was the incident. Presence of mind is also required, and how you can just calm down the chaos, you can say. And one more was there, I'll tell you later.
Thank you. Madhu, go ahead. Now Madhu is wondering, I just asked one question and the entire session finished in that one question only. Go ahead, Madhu.
Even though the question also related to the same again thing, people will say that the peace also many or sadhu or whatever, everyone says that no, if you have a lot of desires, you'll have a less peace. And some people says that no, whatever it comes, but the way you react, it also make you peace or no anger and all those things. So this also, like as many people said, how we behave at that time, how we act. I think maybe from everyone's perspective, I got like lot of
something. I'm happy that at the end of the session, at least Madhu has something to say about what is peace and how he's going to experience that. Thank you, Madhu. Anyone would like to share anything else before we come towards the end? I know it's been a complete chaos, and I'm lucky that we are finding peace in this chaos. That's the beauty of this session today. Yes, anyone? Mohan, you haven't spoken. He's trying to find peace in this chaos.
No.
Yes, Mohan.
Yeah, Rahulji.
Peace.
Yeah, I'm just like taking the inputs from everybody. So you please go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, so here I would just like to few things which while I was preparing for the session, because it was collective wisdom, but I still thought it will be good to have a few inputs out there with regard to what we can do or what are the challenges, some of the reasons why the peace within is disturbed, whether it's within or externally. Some of the external reasons is already here. It might be repeating a few points that everyone has mentioned. So these are pointers. I'm not reflecting on my experiences or ideas, just a pointers here and there. So external reasons could be toxic people around you and how much opinions matter to you, how much people's opinion matters to you. And most importantly, as a result of this, how much are you defending yourself? Because most often there will always be a contrary opinion, other side of the opinion, other perspective. And if you live your entire life defending what you think or what you're doing, there'll never be peace. You have to come to that state where you are saying 1 + 1 is 5, jao 5. जवाब देने जाओगे तो और 3 भी आएगा ऑप्शन में, 1 भी आएगा, 10 भी आएगा, सबका जवाब देते रहना बैठे. So 1 + 1 5. If you're happy, be happy. I don't want to correct you and disturb my peace. So there are external factors where the peace is disturbed. The internal factors are self-blame. Self-blame. We often live with mistakes, and who doesn't make mistakes? We often live with this idea that if I made this mistake, I have to remain guilty or feel guilty for the rest of my life. Everyone has their mistakes, just that you don't do it. But the fact is, the ones that you have done, you know all of them, and so you think you're the worst person in the world. And so there's no peace. There's worry, which you already discussed. Another aspect is people who chase perfection. The people who chase perfection are often in that place because perfection is always the next step. It's never the step that you are standing on. That is how perfection is. And that is something which disturbs your balance, because you're always looking for the next step. I've always told, aspire for what is next, not at the cost of being unhappy with what you are or where you are right now. So focus on that. Unknown, we have already discussed a lot of that. Being in control. This is one of the factors where I feel everyone wants to be in charge. I made a video recently on this, but the idea is not to be in charge at all points in time. If you feel that you to be at calm, at peace, you have to be in control of everything that you are doing, it's going to backfire. Because there will always be elements which will be propping up, something unknown, something unexpected, something will always be there for which you won't be prepared. And if you try to control that, it's like sand. The more you try to catch hold of it or try to be in absolute control, you'll never, never, ever be in charge and you'll never be at peace. The inner chattering is already being told by Uma ma'am. Now the kind of solutions where I found both the internal and external solutions, which I found something which are reasonable and are doable with regard to thoughts. The external solutions, we have already discussed, a walk in the nature. Something moving outside your environment, something which is regular at your home, wherever you are, in the kiosk, whenever you are in that place, get out. Get out. I have that peace of mind when I'm on my bike. After the sessions, wherever I'm anxious, problematic, not getting ideas, messed up, take the bike and go for a 10-kilometer ride. Peace, calm.
You can do it because you have a bike. What about that?
आजो मैं दे देता हूँ बाइक. अरे बाइक की बात नहीं है. कल तुम बोलोगे तुम्हारे पास मर्सिडीज है इसलिए मजे कर रहा हूँ. मैं मर्सिडीज की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. घोड़ा गाड़ी मिले, घोड़ा मिले, बैठ जाओ.
How to drive also.
You can go for running.
अरे गाड़ी मेरा है, मेरा सोल्यूशन है, तुम्हारा नहीं है. मैं बोल रहा हूँ तुम्हारा अगर भैंस है तो उसको लेके चलो. भैंस का दूध निकलना वो करो, कुछ भी करो, जो तुमको पसंद है वो करो. वॉकिंग है, पैर है ना, वॉक करो. लक्ष्मी नारायण ने बोला वॉक करो. The idea is find and move out of your chaos. That's a way in which you can find the calmness coming into. The more you are in that heated environment, पता है जब झगड़ा होता है, अगर आप वहीं बैठ के मेरे को जवाब देना है, ईगो, मैं बोलूंगा, मैं लास्ट बोलूंगा, मेरा ही पॉइंट है, उसमें रहोगे तो वहां पे कुछ नहीं होने वाला. Remember, in your fights, just move out. मतलब मैं जा रहा हूं करके नहीं, मैं 10 मिनट में आता हूं. फर्क है. मैं जा रहा हूं इज अनदर सिचुएशन, अनदर फाइट. मैं 10 मिनट में आता हूं. लेट्स कंटिन्यू दिस and see your tempo will be gone down. Play with a pet. Wonderful. I saw already someone sharing that. Embrace the unknown and trust that you can or will be able to manage. Stress may, there's one interesting point which I've always heard from people who say about managing stress. The people who believe that they'll be able to manage whatever comes through are far, far less stressed when compared to the people who are in the chaos while their environment. They doubt, they think क्या होगा, कैसे होगा, मैं कर पाऊंगा, नहीं कर पाऊंगा, कैसे निकलेगा, कैसे situation आएगा. Even in that chaos, if you believe that हो जाएगा, निकल जाएंगे, solve हो जाएगा. That belief, I'm not saying you're doing something for that right now, just that belief that this will pass is a solution in itself. Next, health checkup. किसी ने बोला था Fitbit use. There could be. I've seen so many people. सब कुछ होने के बाद, with lack of peace and all those things, बाद में जाके पता चलता है कि विटामिन B12 की कमी थी या D की कमी थी, सनलाइट की कमी थी, हार्ट बीट में, हार्ट के पल्स में प्रॉब्लम है, कुछ तो है. चेकअप कराओ. 35 हो तो every 6 months do a checkup, because there can be a physiological reason for the way you're feeling, which you may not accept. Normally I will be active, complete josh mein, everything. I can take off 20 hours a day by working and I won't know the reason. मुझे लगा एक्टिव हूँ, कुछ भी नहीं है, सब ठीक है. जब जाके टेस्ट करेंगे तब पता चलेगा थायराइड आया है, इसलिए वो घबराहट हो रही है, इसलिए लग रहा है ऐसा. Find out. There could be a physiological reason for the way you're feeling. Remember that. And I think Kirti or whoso is the psychologist over here will be able to kind of tell that this is right. This is also a reason. So whenever people go to a counselor to counsel, they first ask, are the metrics or are the vitals in their place? जाके अपने वो चेकअप करा लो, शायद मेरे बातचीत की प्रॉब्लम जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी. That is also required. Once those things are clear, then you go on to that step where there's another challenge which is required. Alternative thinking, already told. Speak your mind, already told. Resist, shoulds and musts. You creating the pressure on yourself, this must be done, this should be done, is the pressure that you're creating on yourself. Resist that. Reduce the unknown elements. The internal solutions, where again, this is an entire session itself, and the internal solutions which we have already discussed. Accept what is in front of you. Take responsibility and be in charge of what you can do. If that element comes through, the action element comes through, you will have solved 90% of the problem. The entire problem is here, not you. I'm saying it is here, and so the problem is there. Once you start acting, once you start doing things, you'll realize it's far more simpler, far more easier, and far more calmer. Because action gets you results. Thinking only stops where they are. It leaves only where you are in your mind. Find your trance. We have already done an entire session on this, where find what makes you happy. Music, walking, dancing, whatever. It has to be your thing. Find that thing, and more importantly, don't forget that you have to go back to that. Today, I don't have a problem that I don't know that I like driving or I like traveling. The problem is, in the mess that I am in right now, I forget that I have to do that. So you know the answer, but engage back into the things where your trance is. That is where you'll find the calmness come through and be able to sustain whatever chaos is going to come up. आप महीने तक जो चीज आपको पसंद आती है, जिस चीज में आपको शांति मिलती है, वो नहीं करोगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली जो दिन निकालना है, नॉर्मल दिन निकाल रहा है, वो भी will feel like a task in itself. So please make sure you're working on continuing your trance. Be true to yourself. Biggest chaos is what you think, what you do, and what you get as a result. There's a difference in it. You are doing many things which are something which you don't believe in. That also creates a conflict and the war within. Work on how you can start doing things which you believe in and making amends to your thinking also for the things that you have to do. If there's a constant war there between what you think and what you're doing, the peace will never come through. Either change what you're doing or either change how you're thinking about it. People often say they're happy about Fridays. Okay, thank God it's Friday. I'm never going to find peace for 5 days of the week. Take off that job, you'll find the peace automatically. When you have to pay the EMIs, you'll feel thankful for that job which is there. The world will change when you look at things in a different way and what they're serving. And last and most importantly, embrace failure. One of the biggest reasons of lack of peace is seeing and trying to hit success every time you're doing something. You won't. There's no certainty of it. Given your effort, you'll be happy that you have given all that you could and you have done whatever was required to be done. That's it. Beyond that, there will always be days, there will always be elements which will completely screw you up. Because you cannot control everything. And that's where there's something called as God, luck, or whatever you want to call. Given your effort, I completely agree. And after that also, there could be, after everything that you have done right, if the result doesn't come through, you would at least have the belief that you have given it your best. That also is peace. With the failure or the lack of result of what you wanted to come through, that is also peace. That you didn't leave any stone unturned. With that, I come to an end from my end. Anyone would like to share anything or something that you would like to say? Varun, there's a long message from Varun. I hope everyone has read that, and I'll be reading that later. Anyone, any thoughts that you'd like to share? Lakshmi, go ahead.
Yeah, as I understood today, believing is peace. Whatever, right? Actually, walking you was told or running, something is there, what we believe much, it will be peace automatically. That you achieve, right? That time you will feel, okay, I'm very happy. I'm in peace of mind. So we have to believe whatever we're doing. So office also you said, right? That area, if environment, everything is good for you, or will agree. Whatever happened, okay, this has happened. We should agree on that. Move on. So the time we'll feel peace. Or else what we do, Pragya told, right? We'll keep on thinking, okay, he told, how we can tell? Or else who is the guy who can tell me? Instead of that one, we can ask him, as well as we can agree. Agree with that one means we'll be more peace. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Mohan, go ahead.
Yeah, Ravi. Actually, it happens with me whenever I find myself in chaos. Actually, I declutter my thoughts because most of the times it happens. I just introspect. I just look back and about the time I have wasted. I correct myself that I have not been able to spend my time as productively as I wanted it to be. So at that point of time, I just become over ambitious. Okay, then I'm just giving myself next 6 months time. I have to achieve so many things in my to-do list. I have to do this, I have to do this, but I don't give myself enough time. So at that point of time, actually, we need to realize that whatever the goals you set for setting for yourself, that needs to be realistic, and that should make sense to you. So that balancing is very important for me, I feel.
Interesting. Thank you, Mohan, for sharing that. It's a process. It's a process through which you will have to go through and find a way in which you can find what you're looking for and still be at calm while you are going through that process. Anyone else would like to share anything else? Suddenly there's peace everywhere. Dr. Rashmi, go ahead.
Akanksha raised a hand earlier.
Akanksha, go ahead. Akanksha, and after that, Dr. Rashmi.
Hello everyone, good evening. So I wanted to speak when Sri Krishna sir added this part about him, being like, I don't care about anything, because I do relate to that. I've been having exams in the past 2 days, and everyone will be standing outside the class with their books, doing whatnot, like asking what is important, is this important, that is important, this is important. There are so many things that are important all of a sudden, you don't know which one is actually important. And so I'm like, I get into my own class, I open the window, I stare outside and put my book in front of me. If I want to study something, I'll study or I'll just look out. That is enough peace for me. No chaos, nothing. I won't talk to anyone. I'll be in my own presence. That is enough peace for me.
There you go. The peace from a 15-year-old, I believe, does have answers for all us old age people, I believe. Anyone else would like to share anything?
Yes, the Akanksha mentioned exams. I would say that also same dialogue. One type of thing. And for in school exams, I literally did that only. To be honest.
Okay, so with that, we come to an end for today's session. A chaotic session to find something about peace and how we can search for peace in our life. Let me close the usual way. Saturday nights have never been this beautiful for the last 91 Saturday nights now. It's been an honor to be sharing our perspectives, listening to your perspectives, and gaining new perspectives. Thank you for the love that you keep coming back every Saturday night and adding life to our lives and to every member of the Speaker Club family. Thank you. Have a good night. See you all next Saturday.